Welcome to the Kombat Kast, Friday the 13th edition. Huh?
Yeah,
was that good?
I get it.
You get what I did there?
I see what you did there.
So what I did with this, you see, we just announced today with the first character with the Kombat Pass is Jason Voorhees. Very excited about that. Sean?
Yeah, Jason Voorhees comes with, of course, there'll be a skin pack with him that all the Combat Pack people will get automatically, as well as, the day one part of the Combat Pack being the Samurai Pack with all those skins as well.
Right. So we're very excited for that. So Jason Voorhees, of course, we showed today, and he'll be available.
Do you need to make a quick call? Or?
Oh, no, I hey guys, my phone. I put that down there in case anything happens that goes awry, so I know. So everybody, Uncharted Lands down the community specials here at NetherRealm Studios. Now, some good and some bad news. The bad news is Derek Kurtzik is at a wedding this week, so Derek can't be here. But in his stead, we have Mr. Sean Hemrick.
Right, I'm Derek, so you can tell the hat.
If you're wearing a dorky hat, you're dressing as Derek.
Yeah.
So, Sean, what do you do around here?
I'm the studio head, so I help everybody keep everything going as much as we can. Been here for quite a while. My first MK game was Shaolin Monks.
That's been a bit.
Yeah.
And you can fire me at any time during this stream.
I guess technically.
But let's not.
Yeah, I would want to at least ask a couple other people first.
Sure, that's fair. We also have some special guests. I just dropped my Coke here, sorry. My caffeinated beverage. My bad. We have two guests today. We got Mr. Brian Shard over here.
Hello.
And Dominic Cianciola. Is that good?
Cianciolo, but it works.
Hello, okay. Man, I've gone through the gauntlet with last names in these streams. So they actually worked on the Mortal Kombat story, and we're going to talk to them about that in a second. But before we get started, as we always say, this build is not our most current build, so there are some things on this build that could change before release. And release is a little over a month away, so we hope you're excited about that. Also, if you look down below, you'll see that you can follow us on Twitch, so please take a moment right now to follow us on Twitch. All right? That's enough time, I think, right?
Yeah.
Good, so we should just get started and get right into it. The title today is A Story 25 Years in the Making, which talks about how this story is 25 years after the last one. But before we get to that, Dom, you want to tell everyone who you are and what you do around here?
Sure. Again, my name is Dominic Cianciolo. I'm the cinematic director here at NetherRealm. I co-write and direct the story in the game, along with many other people. I've been here since Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe was the first one that I directed cinematics for, and then started getting involved with the writing in Mortal Kombat 2011 and also with Injustice.
All right.
I'm Brian Chard. I'm a sound designer here at the NetherRealm Studios. I've been here since back in the Midway days. I came in as a writer for sports game commentary.
That was new to me. I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I help write the story along with our friends John Greenberg and John Vogel, of course. And I'm involved with the casting, the voice direction at the recording sessions, and work with Dominic to get the timing of the VO all set for the story.
Excellent. So before we go today, we're going to show you a little bit of the story, which people have been really excited to see. We're going to show you a little bit of Chapter 1, because as you know, Johnny Cage is now confirmed for Mortal Kombat X.
Yeah, I see him on your character selection.
He's on the character selection down there. So we're going to show you a little bit of the story here in a little bit, but first we kind of want to go through how it gets made.
Sure.
So first question, how do you start structuring a story like this? Like what structure are we looking at for Mortal Kombat X?
Well, the structure for the Mortal Kombat X story was inspired a lot by the second of the two Godfather films, in that we have sort of the main story, which is telling our primary adventure of dealing with Outworld and the civil war with Mileena and Kotal Khan, and also the threat that then everyone faces. But at the same time, then taking spots within the story itself to do flashbacks, to wrap up how the last story ended, what transpired based on the cliffhanger we left there, and then also allow us to get into the history of the new character we've added, and also find out how some of our older characters that are returning, what happened to them before we get to the main body of the story.
Right. And what I like about it too is there's a lot of people who've been playing this game for 20 plus years, and they know all of the characters we started with.
Yeah.
This is a really good place for those who may not have been known the Mortal Kombat universe to kind of come in with a group of characters that are kind of all their own, like Cassie in 20 years can be I remember when she started, so I think that's really cool. And then it's also helpful that it goes back and kind of tells them how we got to where we are.
Yeah.
After the storyline of Mortal Kombat 9, which you are more than welcome to go play again.
Oh yeah.
You can probably watch it on YouTube if you wanted.
Probably could do that. I think there's a couple of sites like that as well. So someone can sit down with this without really knowing the lore and really get a good starting point here.
I would think so. We took great pains to try to make everything as clear as possible with the new characters and also what happened to the characters that were there before.
Gotcha.
So that somebody can jump in fresh and not have to worry about getting lost.
What excited you about having all these offspring characters? Some of them we haven't talked about yet, but then somebody like Cassie Cage. What's the exciting part about being able to write something like that?
Well, I mean, it was something we started in Mortal Kombat 2011 and then accelerated in this game was really contextualizing and providing well-rounded presentations of all the characters. So bringing the Offspring in allowed us to see all these characters in a brand new way. I mean, Johnny as a parent, Sonya as a parent, even some of the other announced characters as parents. And then it just helped to flesh it out and bring more emotion and more drama into the story.
Right. It's interesting you had mentioned too about what it's like giving Johnny a daughter.
Yeah. I mean, certainly it's a very different situation with him as a son. You wouldn't necessarily see the same kind of growth with Johnny sort of having this womanizing past. Now that he has a daughter to deal with, how does that change him as a person and perhaps mellow him out?
Right. And you, Brian, you have a lot, and we get a lot of great responses. You have a lot to do with the writing and putting together of all of the things they say to each other on walkout during the beginning of the match.
Yes, yes.
What were some of the fun things about that? Like,
Well, it's, I enjoy writing for Johnny and for Cassie because they're both smart Alex and,
Right.
and it's fun to see what comes out of their mouth. But, you look at certain relationships and you go, what could these two possibly have to say to each other? But, during the process I've discovered, and, everybody that helped write, there were a lot of us, we discovered that actually there are really cool, fun exchanges that you can have with two characters who might, on the surface, have nothing in common. So
you were able to do lore-based ones, some that aren't based on lore, just some fun stuff.
Yeah, there's some that's complete jokes. There are some that are canon. There are some that aren't canon. There's some that might turn out to be canon. So, yeah, some mentions of characters who are otherwise not in the game. All kinds of fun stuff. So.
And then we've noticed that too, that there will be a lot of characters throughout the entire expanse of all of the world of Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
Will maybe show up at times you don't expect them to.
They might.
So, could happen.
Yeah.
One of the funny stories you guys told me about was when you guys have, you have a writing team, and sometimes maybe not everyone's on board with the same idea.
It's hard to believe, but yeah, that happens.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So we have a process by which we, the four of us, John, Dominic, and myself, come up with the story up into the part where we're actually writing the script, and then Greenberg goes off to solve our technical problems because he's that kind of genius. So the three of us, John and we, write the script, and so whenever it's 2-1, and it happens a lot, the loser who gets outvoted is said to be Detroit Rock City, based on the popular Kiss song. So not only do we have to say to you, the loser, you are outvoted, but we then have to go, dead, and that.
You have to give them the riff as well.
Yeah, the riff. It
Really
doesn't
rub it
sing
in
along.
with the riff. Okay, yeah. Excellent.
I was just playing the other day and noted, I was like, oh, how is Cassie and that character that's not announced yet going to interact? And I was like, and then it happened. I'm like, oh, that's great. I would have never expected them to have a relationship.
Yeah.
There are times I'll go through it and just I'll sit at my desk after work and I'll just pick characters and go, I don't know what they say, what do they say? And I'll start mixing and matching. And then a lot of them have more than there's more than one for a lot of them. So
Oh yeah, there's.
Yeah, I had to reload that match 5 times testing something, and I heard a whole bunch of different things in there. I remember seeing the email go out of hey, studio, anyone having ideas for these more connections? And I'm sure, I know
sure.
a lot of people have it.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it a little bit. I'm sure a lot of people are like, here's a bunch for Johnny Cage.
Surprisingly, it was pretty balanced.
Really?
Yeah. People came up for conversations with people whom you wouldn't think they would jump right on.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, excellent. Is there any other sort of anything about writing or anecdotes you guys would like to add about sort of the process of creating what we've done here?
Well, I mean, the writing process itself is fueled by very dark chocolate
Yes.
constantly. That's what keeps us going through these hour-long meetings. We spend a lot of time in a room together, and
Yeah.
it definitely helps.
And I think one of the hardest parts might be, as I've learned doing community here, and Sean yourself as well on Twitter, you guys have to be very careful with the lore.
Yes.
Yeah, and there are lore requirements, there are gameplay requirements, because ultimately the story serves the gameplay. So there needs to be a balance among the opponents, number of times you fight them,
Right.
the backgrounds, make sure you fight in every background, things like that. So
Excellent.
yeah, so it's a miracle it even gets written.
We can go real quick, Jen, to their social. These guys both have Twitter.
Yes.
We're
Yes,
going
I'm
to
new
show
to
that.
it.
You're a new twit.
Yes.
We're going to put it up on the screen. You can follow. And also we got Sean's there too, lover of tacos, because he loves tacos.
Look at him.
And
There's no point in following me. I don't say anything.
so you can follow these guys and new to Twitter over here. So excellent. So right now we're going to show them a little portion of the story starting.
Sure.
It's not directly at the beginning, but it is part of chapter 1. So I will say that if you don't want to be spoiled, now would be a time to walk away for about 6 minutes.
But it's chapter 1.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on Twitter who did not want to be spoiled, though.
Oh, well,
I'm giving them the option.
You've been properly warned.
You've been warned.
Set your watch, 6 minutes.
About 6 minutes. All right, guys? We're going to play that now. And thank you guys so much for helping out. It's
Happy to
great
be
hearing
here.
about the story. I love hearing every part about how this is made. So this is great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Destination, dead ahead.
Set her down nice and easy for me.
Don't I always?
If by always you mean not once. Major?
All right, you have the rendezvous coordinates, far edge of the forest. From there, we access the portal to Raiden's Sky Temple.
Where there's an angry former elder god and his devils waiting for us.
Gods, portals, flying demons.
Blind guys with magic swords.
The world has changed. For the worse if we do not expel Shinnok from Raiden's temple. He means to poison Earthrealm's life force, the Jinsei.
And we're not gonna let that happen.
Kenshi and I appreciate the Major allowing us to join you. We're happy to help kick Shinnok's bony ass back to the Netherrealm. You gotta land this thing!
The end is near. Getting a little ahead of yourself, aren't you? You should see your face. Hope someone got a shot of that. Gotta get back to the chopper. Sonia, get out of there! Whew! That was unpleasantly cold. No autograph. Oh, should have worn mittens. I liked it better when we fought on the same side. You okay?
We fared better than the men.
Add him to the list of things Shinnok will answer for.
And welcome back. So there it is. That is a 6-minute snippet of Chapter 1. Not directly at the beginning, not directly at the end of the chapter, somewhere in the middle. So if you didn't want to be spoiled, it's time to come back, which you won't be able to see this, but come back now. We have 2 new guests, real quick. We have Dan and Andy.
Hello.
First of all, Dan, say hello to everyone.
Hi. I'm Dan Weiland. I'm the lead cinematic body animator here at NetherRealm. And I've been here for like 2.5 years. I came on in the last chunk of Injustice.
Awesome. Moving on.
Hi, I'm Andy Sunasak, a senior technical artist on the cinematics team. I've been here for a little bit over 8 years, mainly specialize in our facial systems and pipeline and the fun stuff.
I buy sweet corn from Andy.
Yes, it's very good sweet corn. Only once a year, though.
Once a year,
Yeah.
but I get it.
Yeah.
So they're here to talk. We got the body and we got the head. So everything is together
Yes.
now. We have
the Voltron of animation.
Yes.
right. So you guys are in charge. Well, not in charge, but you guys work together and make the
Story
mode
mode,
happen.
Yep.
Story mode,
Exactly.
yes. Mm-hmm.
So just kind of explain. Let's just start from the beginning. Like how does it all work? What do you start with?
Sure. So once the script has been written by Dom and Brian and those guys, basically we start planning out how we're going to film everything. So we do 2D storyboards, kind of like comic books, and 3D animatics to figure out where the characters are going to be, where the cameras are going to be, in the different sets. Once we have that chunk, meanwhile, voice acting is going on. So all the voice actors out in California are recording the dialogue.
Shout out
for
to the voice
storyboard.
actors.
Yep. And once we have those 2 chunks, then we bring in talented actresses and actors and martial artists from around Chicago into the motion capture studio.
Shout out to the mocap actors.
Lots of shout outs.
Lots of shout outs.
Shout out to Andy.
Yep. And then, we put them in the kind of, you've probably seen it before, mocap suits, kind of like skin tight suits with what look like ping pong balls on them. And they act out the scene to the pre-recorded dialogue, and we take that motion, put it on the 3D characters, and animate on top of that.
You just push a button. There it is.
Magic.
Done.
Yes.
Super
Right.
easy.
Yes.
Now I do want to talk to you because you and I went on a trip once here.
We did.
Down to a hardware store.
Yep.
Because you had to purchase some things to help with mocap. So kind of explain that, how the actors work with that.
Yeah, so when the actors are in the motion capture studio, it's just an empty room basically. So to kind of help them get in the groove and kind of inhabit the characters that they're playing, we try to provide as much of like the set and props as possible. So we have a bunch of weapons that they can use for the fighting stuff. We have weighted kind of rubber guns that they can use when they're shooting stuff or people or whatever. What we went to the hardware store for was to get a bunch of PVC piping and like a big plank basically, because we were building a jail cell for when Cassie and those guys are in the jail. We saw some of that in the first story mode trailer, and then we also built a carriage kind of platform for the scene, also in the story mode trailer where Kodal was talking to Kano. Yep, and so we put him on this plank and kind of gently shook it back and forth to simulate the motion of a carriage.
Hey, we got a really good picture. You should show that.
We do have a good picture of that. We can't show it right now, but maybe we can throw that up on Tumblr at some point.
Ooh, Tumblr.
Because we do have a Tumblr account.
Tumblr?
What's Tumblr? Yeah, Tumblr. So we'll try to get that picture out to you guys. It's very cool. Yeah. Let's talk about facial animations now. So I know that from what you've explained to me, and I don't know anything about that stuff, you've kind of upgraded sort of how you do things now.
Yes, upgrade. It's all brand new and fun. We've revamped and upgraded our facial systems for MK10. Pretty much it just allows for more controllability. We're essentially mimicking the muscles that move in the face with our control rig system. There's that, and we have kind of like a cool new eye tech going on for more realistic, natural looking eyes. Just kind of push that next gen bar a little bit.
Now my question, because I know I've seen, we work very close to each other. You're like right across the way from me. We talk a lot of football.
Yes.
And I've noticed you have a mirror right beside your desk.
Yes, it's not just to look at my pretty face. It's also to work. I use myself as reference quite a bit, just looking at myself to generate different expressions and stuff like that. So I talk to myself a lot. So all these guys surrounding me sometimes can get a little bit annoyed, but they just got to deal with it.
So do you have a way, like if an actor is doing something, do you have close-ups of them too doing the same thing?
Yes. So as Dan mentioned, when the actors are doing all of their thing in motion capture, we actually are filming the actors for video reference to utilize when animating the facial.
That's awesome. Yep. Yeah, great. I think. This is a good question. We kind of talked about to Dom and Brian about this as well. Having the children of popular characters are now in the game. As animators, is there a way that you are able to kind of characterize them or give them sort of kind of go through that a little bit? Yeah.
So as we're animating, we're taking the performances that the actors and actresses gave us in the motion capture studio and kind of polishing and enhancing those performances. When we can, we look for opportunities to add in little tidbits that kind of reflect the characters themselves. So there's been opportunities where we put in gestures or poses that Cassie does that are a reflection of something that Johnny does somewhere else in the story mode.
It's like living with someone or being with someone for so long.
Yeah, kind of pick up their mannerisms and habits and stuff like that. And we try to get a little bit of that into the characters to better connect the families.
That's awesome. Great. Yeah. So what we're going to do now, Rigo, our community manager, put together an awesome video that shows kind of a little bit of that helicopter ride that you saw.
Shout out to Rigo.
Shout out to Rigo. And they also, but he's added on top some facial stuff and some of the actual mocap at real time. So you can see how it looked when you did it and how it looks on screen.
Yeah, you'll be able to see our facial control rig kind of at work as well. So some pretty cool stuff.
Awesome. So I want to thank you guys so much for sitting down with me.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Shout out.
Thank you, Sean.
Shout out to Sean. Shout out to everybody.
Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Jen.
I forgot to introduce Jen earlier. Jen, say hi.
Hello, everyone.
She's not happy that I forgot to introduce her. So we're going to show that video now. Thank you guys for helping out today.
Absolutely. Thank
awesome.
you.
Destination, dead ahead.
Set her down nice and easy for me.
Can I always?
If by always you mean not once. Major?
All right, you have the rendezvous coordinates. Far edge of the forest. From there, we access the portal to Raiden's Sky Temple.
Where there's an angry former elder god and his devils waiting for us.
Gods, portals,